So previously, we've created the clients table. We changed the client type for each person. We even added this or services needed for each client. I'm going to go ahead and add in the bike shop real quick by clicking this drop down menu and selecting the two options for the bike shop, which is add and SE. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK for that. And then I'm going to go ahead and close my table because what I want to show you is that if I go to our original form that we created that people could input new clients, and we open that up for the input form, we have an issue now. There is no client type and there is no services needed. So we need to adjust this form to add those new fields in. There are two ways that you can do this. I'm going to show both ways because I really want you to know both ways. The first way is to add them manually. So we could go up to view here and choose layout view. We can then see that we have a whole section up here for different form options, including a design tab, an arrange tab, and a format tab. On the design tab, you have the ability to adjust controls. We kind of got introduced controls a little bit when we were creating the clients because we got to choose what type of control it was putting down in sense a combo box. And so if you actually go over here under controls right here, this one, if you hover over it, is called a combo box. The one with the check mark is called, a checkbox. You can add an attachment, all those kinds of things. So you can have all these different controls that are in here, or you can just have a plain text box, which in this case, every one of these is currently a text box. So what we can do though is we could input manual ones, or in addition to that, we also have the ability in our tools section to add existing fields for this form. So if I go to add existing fields, it's going to show me the field list for the table that I'm currently working off of, which in this case is my client input or my client form. So I have client type and services needed here. And what I can do is you can actually click and drag over here or double click on the client type here. But when you do that, what you'll see is when you let go, it kind of just pops it in on top of other things. Now, the beauty of layout mode is that you can click and drag things around pretty easily, and that things are grouped together. So what we can do is I can take like amount paid and I can hold shift on my keyboard and I can grab everything below that by clicking on all these boxes, and I can click and drag those down, and then I can grab client type and move that down below postal code and line it up. You can then go in here and you can expand how wide things are so that it lines it up the same way as all the other items. And then you can do the same thing for services needed here. We can double click services needed. And actually, since I was clicked on client type, it's going to pop it right below that. You can then go and adjust if you need to move things down a little bit more. Oops, I keep clicking outside of that. So it selects the background. And you can use your arrow keys to nudge stuff as well, if you'd like to. But then you can add those in so that they are available for people to choose from. So now if I go into form view, I can then see the different information about this client. And if I go to new client, which is the important part of this form, I have the ability to put those items in. And it's defaulting to none because that's what we made the default value of client type on the client table. So you can go in and you can adjust it this way. The second way to adjust it would actually be pretty quick as well. And that's to delete the form and remake it, because this was a pretty quick form. We could close this and save it if we want to, but actually over here in the forms, we can right click and delete it. And it says, yeah, do you want to permanently delete it? Yep, that's fine. And then we can go to create and do a form wizard again. And we can bring over everything from the clients table, which now includes client type and services needed, go through all the default settings and rename this client input form and click finish. And it's the same exact thing that we just created, but we didn't have to move a bunch of stuff around, and it was pretty quick because it already had everything from the table in it. So think about the options that you have, think about how to use them wisely, and be able, but also in the same sense, if you're going to add something to your tables, know what pieces are using that, because now you have information that needs to be included that probably wasn't included before.